Well, folks, it seems the tectonic plates of geopolitics have shifted once again, and this time it's got a distinctly Caribbean flavor. That's right, Cuba, the island nation known for its cigars, classic cars, and complicated relationship with the United States, is making a bold move. They've just joined BRICS, the economic bloc of Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. This isn't just about adding another star to a flag. This is about potentially upending decades of economic and political order. We're talking about a country that's been under a US embargo for over 60 years, forced to operate in its own economic bubble, suddenly diving headfirst into a pool of emerging economic powerhouses. So buckle up, because in this episode we're diving deep into the thrilling and frankly slightly terrifying implications of Cuba joining BRICS. You're not going to want to miss this. For over 6 decades, Cuba's economy has been stuck in a time warp, a vintage car with a sputtering engine, thanks in no small part to the US embargo. Imagine trying to run a modern business when your access to basic financial tools is cut off, your ability to trade on the global market is severely limited, and you're constantly facing the threat of sanctions. But joining BRICS? That's like swapping out that old engine for a brand new electric one. Suddenly, Cuba has access to a massive network of potential trading partners, all eager to ditch the US dollar and engage in a little economic diversification. And let's not forget about the crown jewel of Cuba's economic potential, the port of Mariel. This deepwater port, strategically located just a stone's throw from the Panama Canal, is like a giant welcome mat laid out for BRICS nations. We're talking about a potential logistics hub that could rival anything in the Western Hemisphere. A gateway for goods and services flowing between Latin America, Asia, and beyond. And the investments have already begun. BRICS nations, particularly China, are pouring money into Cuba's renewable energy sector, helping the island nation transition away from its dependence on fossil fuels. Access to affordable, clean energy means more money in their pockets, a cleaner environment, and a brighter future. Let's be honest, the US embargo on Cuba hasn't exactly been a roaring success. For decades, it's been held up as this shining example of American foreign policy, a way to punish the communist government and usher in a new era of democracy. But in reality, it's mostly just hurt the Cuban people while doing little to actually change the government's behavior. But here's the thing about bullies: they tend to lose their power when their target finds new friends. That's exactly what's happening with Cuba and BRICS. By aligning itself with these emerging economic powerhouses, Cuba is essentially pulling the rug out from under the US embargo. Think of it this way: if Cuba can trade with BRICS nations using alternative currencies, bypassing the US-controlled financial system altogether, then the embargo becomes about as effective as a screen door on a submarine. The world is moving towards a multipolar system, one where the US doesn't hold all the cards. Now, some folks might scoff at the idea of Cuba being a global leader in anything other than, well, cigars and salsa dancing. But here's the thing: despite the embargo, despite the economic hardships, Cuba has managed to achieve something truly remarkable in the field of biotechnology. We're talking about a country that produces life-saving medications at a fraction of the cost of their Western counterparts, a country that's developed innovative treatments for cancer, diabetes, and even HIV/AIDS. Take, for example, Cuba's Savava EGF lung cancer vaccine. This groundbreaking treatment, developed by Cuban scientists, has shown incredible promise in extending the lives of cancer patients. Now, imagine what Cuba can achieve in partnership with the scientific powerhouses of BRICS. We're talking about collaborations on vaccine research, pharmaceutical development, and cutting-edge medical technology. This is about more than just profits, folks. It's about saving lives. Okay, let's address the elephant in the room, or rather the gas-guzzling, smoke-belching dinosaur in the room: Cuba's dependence on fossil fuels. Like many island nations, Cuba has been reliant on imported oil to keep its lights on and its cars running. But with climate change looming and the price of oil fluctuating more than a teenager's mood swings, it's clear that Cuba needs a new energy strategy. Enter BRICS, stage left, with a solar-powered spotlight and a wind-powered fan. China and India, two of the leading players in renewable energy, are perfectly positioned to help Cuba transition to a cleaner, more sustainable future. Imagine a Cuba where the countryside is dotted with solar farms, where wind turbines spin lazily offshore, and where hydroelectric plants harness the power of the island's rivers. Investing in renewable energy creates jobs, attracts foreign investment, and helps stabilize energy prices. It's a win-win-win situation, and it's a perfect example of how BRICS membership can help Cuba not only survive but thrive in the 21st century. All right, let's talk geography for a second. See that little island nation nestled right at the gateway to the Gulf of Mexico? That's Cuba, my friends, and that strategically vital location just got a whole lot more interesting thanks to BRICS. You see, Cuba isn't just some tropical paradise with great music and even better mojitos. It's sitting on a geopolitical goldmine, and the crown jewel of that goldmine is the port of Mariel. We're talking about a deep water port capable of accommodating the largest cargo ships in the world, strategically located just a stone's throw from the Panama Canal. This means goods flowing between Asia and the Americas could bypass those pesky US-controlled ports and sail straight into Cuba's welcoming embrace. It's enough to make a logistics manager weep with joy, and for Cuba it represents a chance to become the Singapore of the Caribbean, a bustling hub of global trade and investment. And the best part, the US can't do a damn thing about it. For decades, the United States has clung to this idea that it can dictate the behavior of other countries through unilateral sanctions and economic pressure. It's like trying to train a cat with a laser pointer. It might seem like it's working for a minute, but ultimately the cat's going to do whatever the hell it wants. But here's the thing about bullies. They tend to lose their power when their target finds new friends and starts ignoring their threats. That's precisely what's happening with Cuba and BRICS. By embracing multilateralism and forging alliances with countries that don't buy into the US's my way or the highway approach, Cuba is signaling a shift away from the old world order. The US embargo, once a symbol of American power, now looks like a relic of a bygone era, a rusty old tool that's no longer fit for purpose. The world is moving towards a multipolar system, one where power is more evenly distributed. So there you have it, folks. Cuba, the island nation that was once written off as a Cold War relic, is back on the world stage, and it's brought some friends. Joining BRICS is more than just an economic calculation for Cuba. It's a bold geopolitical move, a signal that the island nation is ready to reclaim its place in the world. No longer content to be a pawn in the US's game, Cuba is forging its own path, one that prioritizes cooperation, development, and a healthy dose of defiance. And let's be honest, who doesn't love a good comeback story? After decades of isolation, Cuba is poised to become a key player in the global south, a bridge between Latin America, Africa, and Asia. This is about Cuba leveraging its unique strengths, its highly educated workforce, its expertise in biotechnology and renewable energy, and its strategic location to make a real difference in the world. The road ahead won't be easy, of course, but one thing is clear: Cuba is no longer content to sit on the sidelines. So, there you have it, folks. The beginning of a potentially transformative journey for Cuba, one that could redefine its position in the world. After decades of isolation, Cuba now has the chance to emerge as a significant player in reshaping the global order, a beacon of hope for developing nations looking to chart their own course. The potential rewards are vast, from renewable energy projects to strategic investments in the port of Mariel. Cuba's future within BRICS holds immense promise. But this journey is not without obstacles. As this new chapter unfolds, the world will be watching closely. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more updates on the latest global trends and developments.